Welcome to the Desert of Maine. This is a collection of cabins and a campground just outside of Freeport, Maine. And we're going to be doing some mini tours of all of their different offerings, ranging from tiny homes to A-frames to more traditional camping units. So this is going to be a very fast-paced video. They have a lot of land though, and a bunch of other amenities as well, ranging from a camp store to a mini golf area, and probably the most unique part, hence the name Desert of Maine, is they somehow have sand dunes, which is just completely unheard of up here in Maine in the continental United States. So anyways, guys, this is going to be a really fun video, so strap in. Let's now go and start the full tour. Welcome to the Desert of Maine. This is the front entrance, but we're now going to go and do a more zoomed out aerial view of the entire property. Again, you have over 20 acres of rolling sand dunes throughout, and this place dates back to the 1800s, and it has been an iconic Maine tourist destination for over 100 years. It's a very unique piece of land. Let's now go and see the campground and where the cabins are. So you can either drive or walk down this main road. You have these tall trees on all sides, and we'll round the corner to this A-frame cabin. This spot is called The Escape. It's on their website if you want to book. And it was actually designed by my friends over at Den. They are one of the leading prefab cabin companies in the United States. But outside, you do have some string lights, a nice fire pit, and some seating options. But it's now time to go and see the interior, so I'm going to open up this door and walk inside. When you first enter, we're going to start in this corner, which has a small kitchenette area right next to the front door. You have a small black modern kitchen sink, along with some dishwash and hand soap supplies. On the floor, there's then a small blue retro style fridge and freezer units. The freezer is there in the top right. There's even a small circular mirror that you can pull out like this if the ladies need to do their makeup, or you just like looking at yourself like yours truly. We'll go to the far wall now, and you have a simple coffee Keurig setup. If you look up top, you have a black tea or hot water kettle, and they even has some custom Desert of Maine mugs with their logo on them, which look like this. I can even pull out this box as well, and you'll see all of your different tea, coffee, and sugar options. Moving along, this is the front door again. You can pull down a curtain for some extra privacy. There's actually 2 additional twin mattresses that you can find underneath the main bed. This cabin sleeps up to 4 people. But here is the main queen mattress. We'll also look around. You have some shelf space with some extra blankets. You'll also notice your heater and fan in that corner. And you have some decorations and books for entertainment, like this local Maine guidebook, and even one that is more Desert of Maine focused. Let's move in further now to the main space. You have this comfortable orange chair in one corner, so I grabbed a book and I was just hanging out there and taking a break during this video shoot. You then have a bunch of extra towels and linens if you need to take a shower, and for those twin mattresses we saw earlier. Last but not least, there is a half bathroom in this A-frame cabin. Finally, you gotta love those A-frame angles. These are 18-foot tall ceilings, but I'm now gonna briefly open up this door, and this leads to your private outdoor deck with some seating options and string lights. This property has 3 of the larger A-frame units. These 2 are right down the road and they're next to each other, so they're great for a group or family to rent. But let's now go and see an entirely different unit on this property. This is one of their brand new tiny home units. All of these are called the Haven on their website. This is the backside of the same tiny home. Personally, I love this angle even more because you can just see more of the design and you have all of those windows. But the backyard has a pretty sweet setup with a bunch of string lights, Adirondack chairs, and a fire pit. We are now inside, and this is definitely the best equipped of all their different accommodation types. Their kitchen here has a stovetop and everything that you need, and instead of a half bathroom, you actually have a full bathroom here inside of this tiny home. You have a toilet, your sink, and some shelf space. Then there is a shower inside here. It already comes with their shampoo, conditioner, and body soap. The main space has your queen mattress with those big windows. There's then your dining table and a hangout spot in that corner. And finally, here is your couch. But let's now go and check out some of their other offerings at this property. Here are their tiny A-frame cabin units called the Cozy. They were also designed by that same company called Den, and they're perfect for couples. They sleep 2 people. You have a nice fire pit and string light setup, and personally on this other end, it's one of my favorite angles because you can see the big window all lit up. But let's now go and see the interior. Welcome inside. You somehow have 12-foot tall ceilings in this cabin, and their logo is at the top. There are nightstands on either side. Here is your heater and garbage, and then this same fridge, linens, and coffee setup that we saw in the larger A-frame. That will do it for the main cabins, but we're now going to go and check out some of their glamping tents. This is their larger one called the Luxe. You have a nice fire pit set up out back with that big wall of wood, and I love how the string lights completely light up this spot. But we're going to walk on up. You have those 2 orange chairs on either side, and I even managed to fly my drone straight inside to the interior. When I first entered, it definitely caught me off guard that this was inside of a tent. It feels like a fully fledged insulated Airbnb to me. They furnished it quite well. You have a queen mattress with the same kind of nightstand setup, and then a storage and coffee space in that left corner. If you look in that far corner then, you actually even have a wood stove, which I was really surprised to find inside of a tent. There's then also in that last corner a fridge and freezer, and the same type of couch that we saw in the tiny home earlier. Let's go and see now the final accommodation type, and that is one of their smaller glamping tents. This style is called the Rustic. This one has a bunch of string lights and the same fire pit setup, and it's essentially your typical camping tent with a bunch of great enhancements. Now you can walk down the stairs here, and the location of this spot is really perfect on the property. It is right next to this small flowing creek, and if we go inside, you have your queen mattress. There's another little nightstand there and some lighting up top. And then against the other far wall, you have a bunch of different essentials like a cooler and some towels. Now, we're all done with the accommodations, but don't go anywhere because there are still a bunch of great amenities throughout this property. We'll start first with the camp store, which I think is a great way for the owner to add in some extra revenue while still providing a great service and more value to the guests. There is obviously a ton of firewood, as you can see. You can also buy some fire starters, and it's self-checkout. It's on the honor system, but hey, we're all great, good people, law-abiding citizens here on the MikeWillTravel YouTube channel, and it's super quick and efficient. The owner doesn't need a full-time staff member, and you can simply check out here via credit card. To go into even more detail, you have a bunch of different soda options, sparkling water, and even root beer and water. This is more of a zoomed out shot of all of your different options. There's even ice cream actually in that freezer below, a bunch of different chips then, snacks, protein bars, and even some Desert of Maine merch if you like to purchase. Moving along, in terms of amenities, they have this large grass area, and there are a bunch of games, ranging from the classic game of cornhole. There's this one with some rings, which I played before, and this giant-sized option. Now, you see that white building, and I'm sure you were asking earlier in the video, Mike, a lot of these cabins and tents don't have bathrooms or showers. Well, here is the solution. This is the bathhouse. We are now back towards the front of the property. One of my favorite amenities and one of the most unique by far is that these guys have an 18-hole mini golf course. It's pretty wild. It's called Hermit's Adventure Golf. It's meant, yes, more for the kids or a family, and this is like an entirely separate business for them. Sure, some of the guests may come over here and play, but also a lot of these people are just coming in from out of town just for a nice afternoon to play some mini golf. They have all these different themes as well throughout the different holes. Finally, the location of this property is impeccable. This is right down the road. That is a river in the distance, which eventually leads to the Atlantic Ocean. And it's just a 10-minute drive to the amazing town of Freeport, Maine, which is now one of my favorite new towns to visit during the fall. I was a first timer to visit, and it's quite famously known as the birthplace of the company LL Bean, which is one of the largest outdoors brands in the United States. I mean, just look at that big boot. This is their corporate store, the biggest one I think in the country. This thing was absolutely massive. It had all different sections ranging from hiking and hunting, camping, all these different various departments. I did not have enough time to visit all of them, but you could definitely spend an entire day shopping at LL Bean alone. Then right across the street, if you are looking to come and shop, there's even more options as you can see here. One of my personal favorites as well was the Vermont Flannel Company shown here, even an Old Navy outlet, and the classic Ben and Jerry's, of course. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you very soon for another Airbnb tour.